What's going on, Crypto Twitter? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. I hope this finds you well wherever you may be. And without further ado, let's get into some business here. So, what I want to do today, but by the way, this is my first long format video doing market analysis. So bear with me. I am in the process of learning how to edit video for the first time doing this sort of thing. That said, let's take a look at the markets. And what I'd like to do is we're definitely going to get into Kaspa. What I'd also like to do is I'd like to look at the stock market, the U.S. stock market, and Bitcoin, because you can't really talk about crypto without being aware of what's going on in the stock market. Now, one thing I want to draw attention to is how the last time that Bitcoin broke out to set new highs, it's interesting to look at where the U.S. stock market major indices were. For example, first looking at the S&P 500, you can see that it made 3 attempts to break out. And on the first two, Bitcoin essentially just went sideways. And on the second time, it even made a lower high. On the third time that the stock market successfully broke out, Bitcoin broke out. So this happens because crypto in general is seen as much more risky. It is more risky as an emerging technology compared to the stock market. And obviously, crypto doesn't have the regulatory clarity aside from Bitcoin. So in general, it's seen as much more risky. So when the stock market breaks out, it generally gives a green light to the crypto asset class, signaling that risk is on. You'll also see that the Dow Jones, third time, the NASDAQ on the third time right here, took off. So now when we look at what's happening here currently, you can see that we didn't quite get there yet. We haven't even broken out. We haven't set a new high on the NASDAQ. We haven't set a new high in the S&P. All the major indices have not set new highs. So to me, it's not really surprising that Bitcoin is still at 26,000, under 30,000, going sideways. Honestly, I'm not expecting much from it until the stock market sets new highs, which leads you to wonder, is the stock market going to set new highs with the potential threat of an incoming recession? And that's anyone's guess. That's up to speculation. So what we can do, though, is we can at least try to weigh our odds. And one thing that's interesting here is that if you draw a fib on the S&P 500 for the COVID crash, you'll notice that the S&P had a little bit of resistance here between the 786 and the 702 fib levels. If you look at what's going on right now, you'll notice similar 786, 702. So when we look at Bitcoin has been in a range since March. At this point, it's below the bull market support band and the 200-week moving average. So despite being on a support level, that if it stays under this, may not be a good sign. However, this support could hold and it could pop back up and get above these moving averages. But as of now, this price action has pulled the rest of the market down, along with the U.S. stock market getting a little dip at the 786 and coming back down to also potentially test its bull market support band here. You can see when it wavered here in 2020, it came down and it tested these moving averages before coming up. So similarly, we may see a similar event in 2023, or potentially 2024 if this lasts through the end of the year. What does that mean for Bitcoin, and what does that mean for Kaspa? Well, if the stock market holds, I would expect Bitcoin to essentially be at a low right now, and same for Kaspa. So let's move on to Kaspa a little bit. We can see that Kaspa is doing a beautiful cup and handle. It broke out. It's retesting. And if it holds, it could potentially lead to a break higher and set some new all-time highs. If it falls through this trend line and falls into the inside of this channel, then we could be looking at potentially lower targets that would potentially be very strong buys. And I would be looking at the bull market support band again, and currently around 3 cents. We also have these particular fib levels, which would be strong levels to buy at. So a lot depends on what the stock market does right now. Kaspa doesn't necessarily need to come down to this area, although it would be a good level to buy. It could potentially hold this as support and continue higher. We can also look at the Kaspa Bitcoin pair. And one thing to notice is that as of now, it is still above the daily candle closes of the previous all-time high. So it is very much still very bullish. This could potentially be a bit of a accumulation range right here. It could potentially do something like this, where it kind of bounces between these levels and accumulates, and then breaks out and continues higher. So as of now, it's looking pretty strong. So that's going to wrap it up for today. I hope you enjoyed the content, and my first YouTube video wasn't too bad. If you did enjoy it, hopefully you did, feel free to subscribe and turn on the bell notification for alerts when I upload new videos. And otherwise, thanks for watching. Have a great day.